Leg stretches for mobility. Of course, people usually know their hamstring and their quadricep stretches, but there are a few errors people make, and there's a few other muscles that are always nice to hit. So let's start with your hamstring. So people will usually do these bend forward stretches for their hamstrings, which are somewhat effective, but often you end up stretching a bit more of the ligaments in your back than your hamstrings. So a nice way to isolate your back is to do those hamstring stretches on your back. So, and instead of reaching up, we're just going to bring our legs straight up. Full range of motion of your hamstring should be straight leg right up and down. So to hold that stretch, you can go up against a wall. You can hold it with your leg, or if you're unable to get there, you can use a strap, a belt, or a towel. And you want to hold these stretches for 25 to 30 seconds. So first you want to stretch those hamstrings. Next, I'm going to do the other leg just so it's easier to see. We want to stretch that quadricep. Again, trying to keep a straight spine is ideal. So you can do it laying on your side. It creates a bit more stability. If you cannot reach that, again, you can use your strap, belt, or towel to hold that one for 25 to 30 seconds. Stretch number 3, a little bit less common known, but we want to look at those muscles in the low back that connect to the legs that can cause some kind of shortness in how the femur sits into the pelvis. So we're looking at that psoas muscle and a little bit those abductors. Those adductors, the ones that bring your leg in. So the best psoas stretch I like is that window pose in yoga. So if you bring the affected side leg over the unaffected side, so I'd be stretching my right side in this example, and hold that stretch. For a lot of people, that will be enough of a stretch in those to that rotation of the femur and that stretching of the psoas. But if you want a greater stretch, you can grab the opposite leg and pull it towards your chest. Another muscle that can cause some tension that kind of doesn't directly connect to the hamstrings, but lives in the same neighborhood is that piriformis muscle. So to stretch that piriformis, I'll do it on the left side just so it's easier to see. We want to be in that push-up position and bring that knee between your hands as close as you can and fold down until you feel a stretch right in that butt there, holding that for 25 to 30 seconds. And lastly, we don't want to forget about our calf muscles. So most people think about their calf muscles, they mostly just think about the gastrocnemius, which is this muscle up here. But there's a smooth muscle underneath that most people miss. So when you're stretching your gastrocnemius, you can just drop your heels straight down to stretch that gastroc. But what most people miss, I miss you too, buddy. What most people miss is if you bend your leg before you stretch, you're going to stretch that soleus. And that's going to be that muscle underneath that if you stretch that gastroc all the time, you're still going to have tightness in your calves if you don't address that soleus. So if your leg is straight, you're stretching your gastroc. If your legs are bent and you drop your heel, you're going to be stretching your soleus. So make sure to do all of those once a day if you're experiencing any inhibition or poor mobility in your legs.